Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up tonight, we'll have a roundup of the latest news headlines and all the latest sporting action ahead of the weekend. And I'll be reviewing the week's regional papers with my guest, freelance writer Sue Wilsea. And welcome to Friday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, sprinkler systems are to be installed in tower blocks in Scunthorpe. The decision was made last night by North Lincolnshire Council's Governance Scrutiny Panel in light of the Grenfell Tower disaster. The housing provider Ongo, who are responsible for the 4 high-rise flats in the town, attended the meeting along with Humberside Fire and Rescue Service. Neil Webster, head of regeneration at Ongo, said the decision was made to give reassurance to residents. The sprinklers will be fitted over the next 8 months. Police have launched a murder investigation after a woman was fatally injured in Hull. Police were called to the scene at 7:15 last night following reports of a woman suffering serious injuries after a disturbance outside a flat on Beverley Road. The woman died of her injuries in Hull Royal Infirmary. 1 man and 2 women have been arrested in connection with the incident. They are in police custody on suspicion of murder. The Grimsby Institute is celebrating after being rated outstanding by Ofsted. It's the only college in the Humber region to be given the title. Ofsted praised outstanding teaching and learning practices at the college during its recent inspection. Deborah Gray, principal at the Institute, says the result is a reflection of the hard work of the academic staff.
Do you know what? It feels really, really good. It's a reflection of all the work that our staff have done over the last 3 years. But the rubber stamp of Ofsted Outstanding is only the start for us. We've been working towards this for 3 years. We already knew we were outstanding before Ofsted came in. We are outstanding every day in 100 different ways. And for us, this is what we do every day. We didn't put a show on for Ofsted. We didn't do anything different for Ofsted. It was literally what we do every single day. I think it's a lot of hard work by a lot of people over a long period of time. Any principle stands on the shoulders of giants. So this college has existed.
Maritime Minister John Hayes MP has been in the region today to officially open a new road improvement scheme. Over £93 million has been spent to help reduce congestion and increase capacity on the A160/80 Port of Immingham route. It's used by 40,000 vehicles daily. Immingham is the UK's busiest port and currently contributes to £460 million to the region's economy every year. There's still time for local people to help redraw the political map of Hull. The Independent Local Government Boundary Commission proposes that Hull City Council should have 57 councillors in the future, 2 fewer than the current arrangements. The recommendations also suggest councillors should represent 3 2 councillor wards and 17 3 councillor wards across the city. The public consultation closes on the 8th of August. It can be found at the following website: www.consultation.lgbce.org.uk. Time to have a look through the week's papers now with my guest, freelance writer Sue Wilsea. Good afternoon, Sue. Welcome to the programme. Always a pleasure to have you on the sofa.
Hi, Luke. What's happening?
Thank you very much indeed. What's happening in the world of Sue Wilsea, first of all?
Well, quite a lot as usual. Barton Arts is in full swing at
20th
the moment.
year.
20th year.
Phenomenal.
And it's been going for over a week now, and more events I can tell you about maybe that are coming up this weekend.
Please.
So that's what I've been very busy with.
So what events do we have to look forward to this weekend in the Barton Arts Festival?
Well, tomorrow morning we actually have myself, but I'm hoping not to be able to say very much because I'm in conversation with novelist Louise Beach, who is a fantastic speaker.
The former editor, the Holiday Mail?
She was a columnist at the Holiday Mail for 10 years, that's right.
Yeah.
And her 3rd novel is coming out this summer. And I should be in conversation with her. But as I said, I'm hoping that she will do all the speaking, and that's at 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Fantastic.
And then we've got a Birmingham Youth Choir in the evening at the Methodist Church, and then on Sunday an outside family show, and in the evening a concert at Rope Walk, and all of that is on the website for Barton Arts. Great. 2017.
So it sounds so like there's something to suit all ages, all tastes?
Absolutely everything, something for everybody, and it's a great thing that such a relatively small town puts on such a great festival.
Absolutely. And has there been quite a buzz in the town so far in the festival?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, that brings us nicely onto our first story of the afternoon. Arts venue have 800,000 reasons to cheer. This is in this week's Scunthorpe Telegraph, and our good friend Liz Bennett, Managing Director of the Rope Walk, has been awarded £568,000 from Arts Council England.
Very good
Testament
news.
to Liz's hard work, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Liz and her team have done a great job. I mean, at Rope Walk, I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of the building when they first took it on.
Yes.
Just a shell.
Yes.
And it's amazing what it's developed into. So on Tuesday was extremely good news.
And she's turned it around, like you say, Sue, into something of like this cultural hub.
It definitely is,
in Barton Town Centre for everyone to enjoy it. And they do fabulous cake there.
They do. I think they've won awards for the cake as well as everything
tea
else.
and coffee. And also, from this successful news, Sue, the 2021 Visual Arts Centre in Scunthorpe is going to benefit from £298,000 over 4 years. Over the next 4 years.
Another great place, isn't it?
Another great place.
Another good cafe.
Another good cafe. They've had some great exhibitions there. Dominic Mason's one of the exhibitions officers there who's done some great work to get some of these exhibitions off the ground. So there's certainly a cultural hub in this local area, isn't it? It's not always about the big L.
Well, no, and I think the Arts Council funding has shown that, hasn't it? They've taken a lot of the funding, well, not a lot of it, but a bigger proportion of it away from London
to shine
into
a
the
light
regions.
on what the North has to offer.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sue, what's your first story you've picked out there?
Well, more good news actually.
Okay.
This is the big investment that was announced this week, a £27.5 million regeneration plan into Hull's waterfront, basically the whole Hull Marina area. And obviously building on the success of City of Culture, success breeds success. And it can't be a coincidence that there's another big investment coming. So a huge redevelopment of the museums and the waterfront generally. There's a lot of detail here that we probably haven't got time to go into.
Sure.
But
and I think as part of that, Sue, they're going to move the Arctic Corsair to a permanent home.
That's right.
And give it some resplendor.
That's right.
As it were, some tender loving care.
And the City Council is putting in quite a sizable amount as well. And it says here that City of Culture has created a momentum for Hull, and I think that's exactly
Do you
right.
think that investment then, Sue, in your opinion, the £27.5 million, what's been awarded for this to become Yorkshire's maritime city, has been helped by the City of Culture status?
It must have done. I don't know the detail of how these bids and things work,
Likewise.
but I'm sure it's all part of this same movement, isn't it? Of just showing that when you invest in a place and you invest in its culture and its infrastructure and everything, it generates the response and then the investment, and it all follows.
And if people are right behind it with that same enthusiasm and passion of these people who make these decisions, it's going to suit everybody, isn't it? And everyone's going to be behind it. Because
we were looking, weren't we, earlier at some figures about
that's right,
on the City of Culture.
That's right. A report released this week said that at least 450 events have taken place in the first part of the City of Culture season, and 1.4 million visits have been made to the City of Hull. Phenomenal.
And I think when it was first proposed that those sort of figures were desirable, there were some sceptical voices, weren't
some
there?
snips.
There were.
Yes,
and happily they've been proved wrong.
That's right. And 342,000 visits were made to the opening event Made in Hull by Sean McAllister.
Yeah.
So I think the City of Hull has proved its worth now, don't you?
I do. I think one of the problems for the punters, like ourselves, is just keeping up with what's going on.
Yes.
There's so much.
There is.
Something
like almost every day.
Almost every day, every weekend.
And it is hard to attend these events when when you're working full time. Similar story, Sue, to link to what you're saying there about the positive impact of City of Culture. This is from Thursday's Hull Daily Mail. This year has given people something to be proud of, echoing what we've just said there, and some quotes from various people. Sean McAllister, who we've just been talking about, he says here, Made in Hull was a new cultural experience for me. I work a lot on my own, so coming back to Hull working collaboratively and looking at the city through a different lens at a time when it is at the cusp of change has been incredible. And his final statement here, I have seen for myself that this year has had a subliminal effect and has given people in the city something to be proud of. I think everyone from Hull feels the same, really.
They do. And I also think it's interesting that you'd expect that in the local press, wouldn't you? But of course it's in the national press as well.
Yes.
I think there's never been such coverage.
That's right.
In the broadsheets.
Yeah. Well, I've read some national articles what are focused on Hull 2017 and they've been nothing but glowing. So well done for putting Hull on the map in such a great way. A little quirky story we have here, Sue. Black and white televisions. We are going out in colour this Friday evening, by the way.
Yes.
But what's the article telling us
well,
here?
This just really caught my eye, really, because apparently there are 8 viewers in Grimsby who are still watching in black and white. This compares to 13 back in 2015. I mean, one would presume that these are more mature people, but we don't know. You know, who knows?
We don't know the exact figures.
And there's 1,500 homes in London, 377 in Birmingham and 276 in Manchester, who are all watching, apparently,
so we could be viewed in black and white as we speak, Sue.
Well, it would be very
retro. We are in colour, very retro.
Very retro.
Time to take a break. We'll be back after the break with more review of the week's papers and all the latest sports news with our man Jack Booth. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News, still to come this Friday evening, all the latest sports news with Jack. Now, still with me in the studio, my guest, freelance writer Sue Wilsea. Sue, we have a writing story here.
We do, yes. It's Harry Potter.
Okay.
A little bit of nostalgia, unbelievably. Well, I find it unbelievable. Anyway, it is 20 years since the J.K. Rowling produced her first Harry Potter book.
20 years?
20 years. And there have been various little bits and pieces in the different papers about this. There was a photo in another one about people queuing for the books, you know, all dressed up in costume through the years. And I just was struck as well by the picture of Daniel Radcliffe, who of course played
because he was
Harry.
So young, wasn't he?
He was so young, and of course he's actually developed into a pretty good actor, because I think he was the first to admit that he couldn't act.
Yes, that's
at
right.
First.
I remember.
And he's been very, I think, adventurous with his roles as well. But I thought I'd give you this is a quiz here. I thought I'd give you a little question, Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's taken you by surprise, hasn't
it? Very much taken you by surprise.
So don't worry if you don't know the answer.
Thank you very much.
Don't feel anxious. What is Harry's wand made out of? Do you know?
Pass.
You don't know? Right, I'm sure a lot of people will know. It's actually made out of holly with a phoenix feather.
Okay.
There you go.
No further questions?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Moving swiftly on. Unfortunately, my sister was a Harry Potter fan, but I never really got into it.
No, I read the first book, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Was it good?
Thoroughly enjoyed it, just didn't want to read any more.
Yeah, because
but I've seen all the films as well. Haven't seen the play.
Films are very good. Films are very good. The power of social media is the theme of our next story. Thursday's Hull Daily Mail. Reunited after 54 years, I thought she was dead and she thought I was dead, is the headline there. So this is basically a daughter who popped a picture on a Facebook group of her father.
Yeah.
Cousin stepped forward, recognised the gentleman, and it turned out that the two cousins brought together their respective mother and father, and it turned out that they're brothers and sisters living 10 miles down the road.
10 miles?
Literally 10 miles.
I mean, what's amazing is they hadn't bumped into one. They're not other sides of the world.
Never, yeah.
They're 10 miles
And Hull's a relatively small city, and
they haven't bumped into each other.
You know, often you can bump into people in the city centre who you know, because it is a small city compared to other cities, of course. And I find it quite staggering, like you said, that they never crossed paths. Didn't even know they existed.
I know. And what's interesting to me as a writer is that if you put that actually in some fiction, people might well say, well, that's not very believable, that they lived 10 miles away and for 50 years, did you say?
Yeah, 54
50 years.
Yeah.
Didn't happen to bump into each other.
54 years, yeah.
So
I'd lived in Westhull for just 10 miles apart, and Dennis said here, I couldn't believe how much she was like our mother. She's a lot fitter than I am and could remember a lot from when we were younger. And it just shows, doesn't it, like I said a couple of minutes ago there, the power of social media.
And that it's for positive as well as negative.
For positive, and it can bring people together in the most unusual ways.
Yeah.
So, nice little story that.
It is.
Very nice little story. Moving on here, the High Street. As we know, it's in decline. I think the internet has taken over in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Maybe not always for the better. The Scunthorpe MP Nick Dakin is calling on something to be done about the empty shops in the town centre. There's quite a lot of them.
It's true of many towns though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you look up and places above the shops as well.
Yeah, lots. And he said we have a problem with some vacancy in the town centre, which I continue to take up with the police and council and other agencies, and it's a concerted effort which needs sorting out. Should we appreciate our High Street more and everything what it has to offer? I know there's a campaign at the moment for All This Love Local to support really ultra-local businesses. What's your views? Do we live in a...
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I fully support that kind of idea, but we're all live the kind of lives where
touch of a button.
It's very difficult sometimes to make those individual trips to shops.
Exactly.
So you go to the big supermarkets outside town.
And it is ease of convenience.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see whether Mr. Dakin has any clout to try to do something to deal with this problem, which obviously he feels is a bit of a concern in Scunthorpe town centre.
Because Mary Portas was given that job, wasn't she, by the government to look into the decline of town centres? But as I don't think she got very far. I don't really remember.
Okay, we'll have to check and find out. The power of the local community rallying round to save things what are on their doorstep.
An ice rink.
That's right. Group moves step closer to taking over Ice Rink. Tuesday's Grimsby Telegraph. We've reported on this early in the year. So Grimsby Ice Rink was obviously owned by North East Lincolnshire Council.
Yeah.
Cost-saving exercises, they made a plan to close it down. Communities rallied around and said, we need the ice rink in our community. What can be done? This group was set up, and reading the article here, Sue, it looks like they've been successful in their bid, and they're going to be handed over the keys to the new facility.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's great. So again, the power of the people.
Am I right in that there's one of the people involved actually gave up their job to...
Possibly.
I believe I remember reading that.
Possibly.
But whatever, people obviously have to make big sacrifices to...
If they're passionate about
it, to get these things done.
Yeah, and it just shows it can work and does have an impact. They've had to raise around £25,000 to carry out essential repairs before the rink can even open. And they're now having to look at ways to find another estimated £200,000 to ensure that it will be financially viable in the long term.
Yeah.
Great.
Good luck to them.
Another bit of community. Oh, let's have a look at this one in very quickly soon. Bridlington Free Press. Tourism-based companies continue to provide outstanding services for visitors. So as the summer months are approaching, what can we do with our summer holidays, particularly if you've got families?
Yeah.
Bridlington seems to be the place to go. Tourism plays an important role in the economy of Bridlington, and there's a number of diverse attractions in the town, such as the Bondville Model Village and the fantastic, in my opinion, RSBP Bempton Cliffs at Flamborough.
Yes.
And they do some great work and some great conservation work. We're going to be reporting on RSBP Bempton next week because there's a Save the Puffin campaign. Apparently puffins are going to become extinct in a number of years and something needs to be done to protect them. So will you come back and see me soon?
Oh, if you ask me nicely.
Thank you very much indeed.
All right,
for being
thank
my
you.
guest this
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Now it's time for the sport with Jack.
The EFL have announced that they have invited 16 under-21 teams from outside Leagues 1 and 2 to participate in the Checkatrade Trophy for the 17-18 season, alongside our local EFL clubs Scunthorpe and Grimsby. Among the invited sides to confirm their participation in the tournament are Chelsea, Sunderland, Middlesbrough and Fulham. Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester United have all rejected the invitation. Hull City have signed young forward Liam Edwards. The 18-year-old has signed a one-year deal with the option of another year following a successful trial at the club. Edwards was previously at Swansea. More from City, and they have announced that they will play Portuguese champions Benfica while on their tour of Portugal. The game will take place on Saturday the 22nd of July at 8:30. This will be the third confirmed game of the tour, alongside Oxford on the 15th and Bristol Rovers on the 18th of July. They will also play French side FC Nantes at Craven Park on the 25th of July. On to rugby, and Hull FC travelled to tabletoppers Castleford this evening in the Super League. FC's Liam Watt says it is imperative they get off to a fast start if they are to beat tonight's opponents. The Black and Whites currently sit second in the table and are on a 4-match winning streak. Tonight's game starts at 8 p.m. Across the city, Hull KR centre Liam Salter has signed a new one-year extension, keeping him at the club until 2018. He joined the club in 2012 and has so far made 98 appearances, scoring 21 tries. Head coach Tim Sheens has made 3 changes to his squad to face London Broncos on Sunday. Andrew Heffernan returns to the squad along with Robbie Mulhern and Joe Cater. They replace Liam Harris, Josh Johnson and Will Oakes. KR are unbeaten in their last 5, while their opponents, who sit in second, are placed below the Robins, are unbeaten in their last 10. The game on Sunday kicks off at 3. Finally, Ticton's Kyle Edmund has discovered his first-round opponent for Wimbledon. He will play qualifier and fellow Brit Alex Ward on Monday. Ward is the lowest-ranked qualifier to play at Wimbledon since 1998. Edmund will also play in the men's doubles with his partner João Souza, and they will play the Indian duo Purav Raja and Dijav Sharan in round 1, which is scheduled for Wednesday. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's just about it from us this Friday evening. As usual, if you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details are on the screen now. Join us same time on Monday when I'll be joined on the server by Graham Flinton, talking about his new publication in the world of children's literature, and Mark Grant of The Samaritans, talking about an awareness walk taking place later next month. Have a great weekend from all of us on the team. Good evening.